Exploring the outdoors can be thrilling, but nature is unforgiving. Some adventurers set out chasing excitement, only to face unthinkable tragedy. In this video, we'll uncover 5 more real stories of the worst deaths in outdoor adventure history. Journeys that turned into nightmares, where survival was no longer an option. It was Saturday, January 25, 2025, in Kruger National Park, South Africa. A family was enjoying a day at one of the world's most famous wildlife reserves. Among them was 59-year-old Sheikh Adam Shabir Ahmed, a grandfather from Piet Retief, South Africa, who had brought his 2 grandchildren along for the trip. They were near Malalane Gate, a well-known entrance to the park, taking photos and admiring the scenery like countless visitors before them. The weather was warm and clear, perfect for wildlife viewing. The family parked their car near the Crocodile River and focused on capturing pictures of an elephant in the distance. Excited by the sight, the 2 children, a 5-year-old girl and her 11-year-old brother, moved a little further ahead to get a better view. Unaware of the potential danger, they stepped past the bridge, getting closer than they should have. Suddenly, an elephant emerged from behind the bushes. It charged toward the children, startled by their presence. The massive animal, feeling threatened, reacted instinctively. The children, realizing the danger, tried to run back. The older brother grabbed his sister's hand, attempting to pull her to safety. Seeing what was happening, Sheikh Adam Shabir Ahmed acted without hesitation. He rushed forward, trying to protect his grandchildren. But in the chaos, the elephant turned its attention to him. Before anyone could intervene, the elephant trampled him, delivering a devastating blow. Moments later, it walked away, disappearing back into the wilderness. The grandfather was left motionless on the ground. His injuries were too severe for him to survive. His grandchildren, though terrified, managed to escape. The 11-year-old boy suffered a leg injury while his younger sister was physically unharmed. Park rangers and paramedics arrived shortly after, but there was nothing they could do to save him. His family, still in shock, could only grieve the sudden and tragic loss. In response, South African National Parks, or SANParks, released a statement confirming the incident and offering condolences to the family. Officials urged the public not to share any photos or videos of the tragedy out of respect. Authorities launched an investigation to understand what led to the encounter. Initial reports suggested the children had been taking photos near the bridge when the elephant charged. The grandfather's quick reaction was an attempt to shield them, but he became the target instead. It was also confirmed that the older child had been struck by the elephant's trunk before managing to escape. This heartbreaking event raises concerns about safety in wildlife reserves. Kruger National Park is home to some of the world's most powerful animals, and while thousands visit each year, they're always reminded to follow strict safety rules. Tourists are advised to remain inside their vehicles and maintain a safe distance from animals. But in moments of excitement, these precautions can sometimes be overlooked. Sadly, this is not the first time an elephant encounter has ended in tragedy. Just months earlier, a Spanish tourist lost his life after stepping out of his car to photograph a herd in Pilanesberg National Park. In 2019, a man suspected of poaching in Kruger was killed by an elephant and later found by lions. And in 2023, an 80-year-old woman on a safari in Zambia lost her life when an elephant charged at her group. While rare, these incidents remind us that wildlife is unpredictable. Elephants in particular are highly intelligent but can react aggressively if they feel threatened. Experts believe that in this case, the elephant may have felt startled or protective of its space. The loss of Sheikh Adam Shabir Ahmed is heartbreaking. His final act was one of courage, rushing to protect his grandchildren despite the danger. His bravery saved them, but at the ultimate cost. This incident also raises difficult questions. Could it have been prevented? Should there be stricter enforcement of safety measures in wildlife parks? Could better awareness of animal behavior help avoid similar situations? These are the issues that park authorities and wildlife experts continue to examine. For the grieving family, no answers can undo what happened. A day that was meant to be filled with joy turned into an unimaginable loss. The unpredictability of nature is a reminder of both its beauty and its risks. In the end, one moment changed everything. If the children had stayed closer to the vehicle, or if the elephant had not charged, the outcome might have been different. But in the wild, there are no guarantees. The only certainty is that Sheikh Adam Shabir Ahmed's love for his family was greater than his fear. And in his final moments, He proved just how far he was willing to go to keep them safe. It was November 9th, 2024, just before sunrise, when a group of teenagers camping near Wilton, southwest of Sydney, stumbled upon something they would never forget. What was supposed to be a fun weekend quickly turned into a nightmare. The night before, 15-year-old Isaac had been camping with friends. Around 10 p.m. he told them he was cold and hungry and decided to head home. He assured them he'd be back soon. His friends didn't think much of it at the time, but Isaac never returned. At some point during his walk, Isaac crossed paths with 32-year-old Jacob Gregg and his companion Johanna Martin. The two were driving near Malden Weir, not far from where Isaac was headed. Reports suggest Isaac, likely looking for a ride home, approached their car. When he pulled on the rear passenger door handle, it unexpectedly broke off. Witnesses later recalled hearing Isaac mention that he was just trying to get home. What happened next was something no one could have predicted. Gregg, seemingly angered, got out of the car and confronted Isaac. Things escalated fast. According to court documents, Gregg made threats, and moments later Isaac was seriously injured. Despite his efforts to escape, he collapsed near the road. Surveillance footage later captured some of the encounter, but the full details of what led to the violent confrontation remain unclear. The next morning, around 7:25 a.m., Isaac's friends began searching for him. As they walked through the scrubland near Wilton Park Road, they spotted a figure lying face down. At first they thought it was a stranger, but as they got closer they recognized the shoes, Isaac's shoes. They turned the body over and confirmed their worst fear. Isaac was unresponsive, and his clothing was soaked in blood. One of the boys' mothers later spoke about the trauma they endured. The night before, they had been laughing and making memories. Now they were faced with something no child should ever witness. Investigators later determined that Isaac had been left in the area after the incident. A blood trail about 30 meters long suggested he had tried to move, but he had been too badly hurt. Authorities believe he had been alone in the dark for hours before being found. By the time police were called, Gregg was already home. After the incident, he and Martin had returned to Gregg's house, where he reportedly disposed of the weapon. His fiancée and young child were inside, unaware of what had happened. The following afternoon, Gregg and Martin, accompanied by Martin's parents, went to Narellan Police Station. Authorities arrested Gregg, who was later charged in connection with Isaac's death. Martin was not considered a suspect and faced no charges, though her presence raised questions. Police also seized the red Hyundai Y30 the pair had been driving and reviewed nearby closed-circuit television footage as part of the investigation. News of the case spread quickly, shocking the public. Many struggled to understand how a simple encounter had ended in tragedy. Isaac's father, Paul, spoke out, describing his son as a beloved brother, friend, and a young boy with so much ahead of him. The loss left his family and friends devastated. During a court appearance, Magistrate Robert Rabbage called the allegations extremely serious and denied Gregg bail. If convicted, he could face a lengthy prison sentence. Evidence, including video footage and forensic reports, appeared to support the case against him. The legal process was set to continue, with Gregg due back in court in early 2025. Meanwhile, Isaac's friends were left struggling to process what had happened. The same teenagers who had been camping with him just hours before were now witnesses in an ongoing case. Some were questioned for hours by police. One mother said her child seemed emotionally numb, as if part of them had been lost that night. For Isaac's family, the grief was just beginning. Many questions remained. How did the situation escalate so quickly? Could Isaac have survived if someone had helped him sooner? While the investigation continues, those who knew him are left mourning a life that ended far too soon. On the night of August 8, 2024, in Feather Falls, California, a shocking tragedy occurred. Davina Corbin, a 56-year-old local woman, was found lifeless on Blackhawk Trail, a well-known hiking path near her home. She often walked the trail, enjoying the peace of nature, but that night she never made it back. Around 2 a.m., a neighbor discovered her body lying on a dirt road in front of a house. Authorities soon arrived and confirmed that she had suffered fatal injuries from an attack by domestic dogs. The Butte County Sheriff's Office and Animal Control immediately began investigating. Their search led them to a nearby property on Blackhawk Trail, where they found around 25 Great Danes roaming freely. These large dogs had been a common sight in the area for some time. Many residents were aware of their presence, but no serious action had ever been taken to control them. Animal control worked for hours to capture the dogs. By the end of the day, 23 were secured, while 2 remained missing. Investigators sent samples from Davina's clothing to a lab to confirm if the captured dogs were responsible for the attack. While results were still pending, authorities strongly suspected they had played a role in her tragic death. Davina had lived a simple life in Feather Falls. She didn't own a car, so walking was her main way of getting around. Black Hawk Trail was part of her daily routine, a quiet path she had taken many times. On the morning of August 8th, that same trail became the site of a fatal attack. Residents had been warning about the dogs for years. Max Hecker, a neighbor, recalled several close encounters. Once, while driving, the dogs charged at him, forcing him to rush back into his car and speed away. He wasn't the only one who had concerns. Several people had reported the roaming dogs to Butte County Animal Control, but their complaints were ignored. Neighbors had reported the dogs running loose and concerns about their health, yet no official complaints had been made about aggression until it was too late. Butte County Animal Control faced staffing shortages, which may have contributed to their lack of response. However, many in the community felt that this tragedy could have been prevented. Great Danes are usually known for being gentle, but when left uncontrolled, especially in large groups, they can become dangerous. In this case, their presence had long been a concern, yet no one stepped in to stop the problem before it turned deadly. Davina's family was devastated by her sudden passing. They set up a GoFundMe page to help with funeral expenses, sharing their grief in a heartfelt message. They explained that Davina Corbin, 56, of Feather Falls, California, was tragically taken from them after being attacked by dogs on August 8, 2024. The family expressed their struggle to come to terms with the loss and their need for help in saying goodbye. Community members quickly rallied to support them, but the pain of losing Davina remained fresh. As the investigation continued, no criminal charges had been filed. Authorities were still working to confirm which dogs were responsible, and 2 remained unaccounted for. This case raised concerns about the dangers of domestic animals being allowed to roam freely. It also sheds light on the responsibility of local authorities to take action when public safety is at risk. Could Davina's life have been saved if authorities had intervened earlier? What if the reports about the dogs had been taken seriously before tragedy struck? These questions may never have clear answers, but they serve as a reminder of the consequences of inaction. The people of Feather Falls continue to mourn the loss of a woman who was simply taking a familiar walk, unaware that it would be her last. It was April 3, 2021, when 32-year-old Alexander Lofgren and his fiancée, 27-year-old Emily Henkel, set out from their home in Tucson, Arizona, for a short camping trip in Death Valley National Park, California. The couple shared a deep love for the outdoors, often exploring national parks together. For Lofgren, a United States Army veteran who had served in Afghanistan, nature was more than just a passion. It was a way to heal. After his deployment, he found comfort in the wilderness, and Henkel, a photographer, shared that same enthusiasm. They planned to return on April 4th, but when they didn't, their families grew concerned. By April 6th, they were reported missing. Search teams discovered the Subaru Forester stranded in a remote area of the park. It had 2 flat tires, and inside, rescuers found a note stating they had 2 flat tires, were headed to Mormon Point, and had 3 days' worth of water. This note proved to be a crucial clue, guiding rescuers to where the couple had gone. However, the terrain was difficult and help would not arrive quickly. Lofgren and Henkel, experienced campers, set out on foot in search of assistance. Their route took them through a steep canyon near Willow Creek, a dangerous area. As they descended, Lofgren lost his footing and fell from a 70-foot cliff, suffering fatal injuries. Henkel, in an attempt to reach him, also fell, severely injuring her ankle. She was now stranded, unable to move, with no way to call for help. For 6 days, Henkel endured the intense desert heat, the pain of her injury, and the heartbreaking reality of what had happened. She stayed by Lofgren's side, hoping someone would find them. However, the search was complicated by the park's harsh environment and the remote location where they were trapped. Finally, on April 9th, search teams located the couple using the note from their car as a guide. They found Henkel on a steep ledge, but the location made rescue efforts difficult. After several attempts, an air team was finally able to reach her around 11:30 a.m. Lofgren had already passed away. Henkel was airlifted to safety and taken to Lemoore Naval Air Station for medical treatment. She had suffered a severe foot injury and required surgery. As she recovered, more details about their tragic ordeal emerged. Lofgren was well known for his work as a caseworker for United States Representative Raul Grijalva. He dedicated his life to helping veterans access benefits and adjust to life after service. Those who knew him described him as compassionate and selfless, often using his own money to assist struggling veterans. His kindness left a lasting impression on many. Following Lofgren's passing, Representative Grijalva released a heartfelt statement honoring his dedication. He praised Lofgren for living a life of service and always putting others first. Grijalva highlighted that no matter the situation, Lofgren met those in need with a smile, a caring heart, and genuine empathy. Henkel, devastated by the loss, found support from family and friends. She and Lofgren had been together for over 2 years, and their relationship was built on a shared love for adventure. They had even dreamed of opening a plant nursery together. Now she was left mourning not only the man she loved, but also the future they had planned. Despite the tragedy, Lofgren's impact continued. In his honor, a bill was introduced to Congress to provide veterans and Gold Star families with free access to national parks. Named the Alexander Lofgren Veterans in Parks Act, it passed in the United States House of Representatives in July 2021. Henkel attended a ceremony in Washington, District of Columbia, where his legacy was recognized. Later, she shared her story on a podcast, recalling their love for exploring nature. She spoke about Lofgren's excitement whenever they visited a new park and how he had introduced her to breathtaking landscapes. She explained that Lofgren had a sense of wonder and awe for all the parks and was always excited to show them to her. The couple had visited many national parks together, including Saguaro National Park near their home in Tucson. They had even planned to marry at the Valley of the Gods in Utah, a place that held special meaning for them. As Henkel continued to heal, she hoped the bill would allow other veterans to experience the same peace and joy she and Lofgren had found in nature. She wanted his love for the outdoors to inspire others. The events in Death Valley that April were a heartbreaking example of how unpredictable nature can be. While Lofgren's life was tragically cut short, his story and the bill named in his honor ensured that his passion for helping veterans and exploring the wilderness would live on. It was September 3, 2024, in Mallorca, Spain. Sarah Jane Thompson, 26, and her boyfriend Alexander Barrett, 32, were exploring the Tramontana mountain range. The couple, from Stockport, United Kingdom, were passionate about climbing and the outdoors. Sarah was a regular at the Awesome Walls rock climbing gym, where Alex worked as an instructor. Their love for adventure led them to the Torrent de Paredes, a well-known gorge in the mountains, hoping to reach its hidden beach. The day started like any other hike, but nature had other plans. Though the area was usually dry in summer, sudden heavy rainfall changed everything. Within minutes, the peaceful stream turned into a raging flood. The water rose quickly, catching hikers off guard. Sarah was swept away by the powerful current, and Alex desperately tried to reach her. Despite his efforts, the force of the water was overwhelming and both were carried away. Rescue teams were alerted as soon as they were reported missing. Helicopters, divers, and emergency crews searched tirelessly, but the dangerous conditions made the mission difficult. Many other hikers also had to be rescued from the unexpected flood. On September 4th, Sarah's body was found in the Torrent de Paris area. Friends and family described her as vibrant, kind, and full of life. Her former workplace, the Good Rebel Bar in Stockport, paid tribute to her, remembering the warmth and energy she brought. But Alex was still missing. His loved ones clung to hope, but the days passed with no sign of him. On September 6th, the Spanish Civil Guard confirmed that a body matching Alex's description had been found. He had not survived. His final moments were spent trying to save Sarah. Tributes poured in for both. At Awesome Walls, where Alex worked, a heartfelt post described him as a warm, enthusiastic person who always encouraged others. His passion for climbing and helping people made him beloved in the community. Sarah, too, was deeply missed. She was known for her positivity and kindness, always making friends wherever she went. Their loss left many questions. The Tramontana Mountains, though beautiful, are known for unpredictable weather. The gorge is often dry but can become dangerous when heavy rain falls. Local tourism websites warn about flash floods in autumn and spring, but even experienced hikers can be caught off guard. For Sarah and Alex, the sudden rise in water left no time to react. Could anything have been done differently? If they had checked the weather forecast more carefully, could they have avoided the tragedy? If they had turned back sooner, would they have been safe? These questions haunt those who knew them, but the reality is that no one could have predicted the flood's speed and intensity. Despite their heartbreaking end, Sarah and Alex's memory lives on. Memorials have been planned in their honor. At Awesome Walls, a climbing project Alex had worked on will remain as a tribute. Friends and family gathered in Stockport, sharing memories of their adventurous spirit and love for life. Though gone, their impact remains. Sarah and Alex's story highlights nature's unpredictability, the need for caution, and their enduring passion, kindness, and joy.